Alright. This is my first time for a long time using OBS to stream straight to YouTube, so I'm hoping it works. I'm seeing a black screen. I'm seeing myself! Awesome! Yay! Cool. So, how's it going? Alex Glow here. This is a new segment I'm calling Hack O'Clock, where it's basically just like super late at night, but there's something I want to get done, and I've been wanting to get it done for a while, so before I go to sleep, I'm going to hop on and do some random, non-goal oriented, just make progress on a project thing. And today, what I'm working on is I'm designing an SAO, aka shitty add-on, or simple add-on, or supercon add-on. There's lots of different terms for these things, but there's a really cool badge made by Bose that I'll pull up in a minute, where you can put 3 of these on here. It's basically a sort of little mini badge standard where people who make regular size badges will add these little attachment points, and then you can make tiny badges that goes on the badges. And yes, someone has made a Yo Dog, I Heard You Like Badges one already, multiple years ago. So I'm basically designing one of those, and I should have grabbed one. What's wrong with me? Anyway, there's lots of stuff of these online, and in order to do that, I'm also testing out some blue LEDs. So I've made a number of PCB badges in the past, which, here they are. Here's just like a few different ones. I like to design them to work as like earrings or pendants or whatever. And so here's one that I made for Avnet, which is like a guitar pick. And yes, it works as a guitar pick. I think I filmed myself using it that way once. And, you know, little backlighting. Works as a pendant or as an earring. Looks real cool. And it's really just a very simple circuit. Battery, switch, resistor, and LED. And the thing about SAOs is they're even simpler because you don't need a battery, because it takes its power from the badge itself, and you also don't really need a switch because you can just unplug it. Normally when I'm making wearables, I always want to have a switch on there. It's kind of a big thing for me, in fact, but for SAOs, I'm like, I can just disconnect it, and then it's easier for everyone. We can just like save on components, save on soldering time and stuff. Here's another one that I made with, actually, what is this blue LED? Because I think, oh, well, this battery is mostly dead, so you won't be able to see it. But this is a sort of Art Deco pendant that I made with my initials, AG, very subtly on the top there. Maybe not so subtle, but I should make more of these, actually. These are both done in Osh Park's After Dark colorway, which is like a black FR fiberglass core with clear solder mask on top. And then, so you can see the copper traces through the clear solder mask, but then where the copper is and there is no solder mask on top, it is coated in gold. So, plated in gold, Enig coating. Yeah, and just for funsies, here's like an old one that I made that is not a PCB, but is just a piece of circuit board art from many, many years ago, where I just wanted to... What I really wanted was for someone to make LEDs with super long legs that I could like twist into wire art. But anyway, so for a format for this show, I think I'm going to start by clearing off my desk, because that's part of the process, and I think it's interesting to see what's on there. You know, I've got all these various things that I've been working on, and maybe it'd be interesting, since this is a sort of chaotic segment, for you to have a look at that. So, I've got this guy set up, and so just before I dive in, I'm going to set up my working space. We've got some of these Adafruit silicone wire coils that are super helpful. My main thing I've been working on is fixing Archimedes, and I actually had him working for OpenSauce last weekend, which is amazing! That bot's been broken for multiple years, and actually, after I got back, I ripped his head back off, because I wanted to update it. Oh, let me do the fishing around off screen. Well, I'm gonna do a short video soon featuring the new cobbled together Archimedes, but he's made of like multiple past versions, and he sits on my shoulder and does all the old good stuff, like has some really cute new LEDs actually. Very excited about that. Okay, but for tonight, we're working on the SAO. Then we've got the Arduino Alvic, where I'm working on a tutorial for 3D printing parts to attach to it. This is a little side mount example that I just made to try and like make a plate that matched, and it worked pretty well. Got some other pieces that I'm gonna write up in a tutorial about how to design 3D printable pieces for the Arduino Alvic, which is a little educational robot. We got some NeoPixel strips. So new Archimedes version has some really cool LED strip based lighting with a really nice, in my opinion, I mean, of course, I made it to my own aesthetic specifications, so I think it's really nice. It's like a cyan to green gradient situation, and I love it. So we got some NeoPixels around on there. Toss those over there. We've got a battery pack. This is what I've been running Archimedes off of. It's a really nice high amperage one from Nimble. You've got USB-C on one side, USB-A on the other. Yeah, what is it? What's the amperage on this? Only 2.4. Oh, Type-C is 3 amps. Oh, I should be using the C one then. I wonder if I've been having any issues. Anyway, lighter for heat shrink. We got some right angle doubled headers for some reason. I don't know why. I'll tuck that lighter back into my desk drawer where it belongs. Got some headers and heat shrink over here. Just like a general many sizes of heat shrink. This I'm going to leave out because I'm going to be using this. It's just a bunch of little random pieces of headers that have been like... I'm cleaning up my workspace since I went to India. I've like spent a bunch of time just like clearing up my work area, and just like all those little bits of headers that like end up around, you know, these little 3 and 4 pin ones, and then some like doubled ones, and what are these? Are these right angles? Yeah. And then all these little 2 pin header bits that you can use for like jumpers and stuff, plus some actual little tiny jumper nubbins that I just found around, you know? It just kind of accumulates, so I'm going to be using some of that to make my little tester. We've got an Arduino Nano 33 BLE Sense. I love these. I did just take this one out of another version of Archimedes, Nanomedes, which it runs an Arduino Nano, and I wanted to replace that with the new Arduino Nano R4, whose box I have around here somewhere. So, actually, there's another show that I'm doing now with David Groom called Dayglow. I should pull that up. And we just did a little fun little session with the R4. I didn't actually tell anyone I was going to do this stream, so if you happen to show up here, you're very, that's very serendipitous. I won't be, you know, egoistic enough to say you're very lucky. We got some nice little Velcro ties. These are always super helpful. I used a ton of these for something. Oh yeah, Archimedes now has like a big umbilical, like multi-cable that goes down my arm. I can't wait to show you that because I love it. It feels so cyborgy. Ugh, it's really like almost Borg punk. Love it. We got a random little screwdriver from... I feel like this used to be branded, but anyway, it's like a Phillips on one end and flathead on the other. It's tinier than your usual giveaway screwdrivers, which is nice, but it also tends to like swivel around in its holder. Got a bunch of little bits of heat shrink. As you can see, I've got like multiple sort of geologic time layers on here, and that's just because I'm trying to protect these felt things and also make it easy to move projects around. So, little bits of heat shrink can go over there. These are some things that I initially thought I would use for the tester before I thought to make it into an SAO itself, because I just wanted to test those LEDs, so I've got a bunch of like, I randomly soldered some wires to this CR2032 coin cell battery holder because I needed it at some random point, but I think I'm going to be using this SAO mount instead, the one that looks like a Minecraft sword that I showed you a minute ago. I'll pull that up again in a second. And these bits are going inside of Archimedes' head. This is a DF robot module for playing MP3s. And you can see that I've like stabilized this little jumper cable I made for it. Boop! You can pop that on to connect it to stuff, and there's a separate cable that you can use to program it. Anyway, so I should put those in Archimedes' little box. Where did he go? I'm gonna put it over there. You don't get to see the rest of the space because it is horrendous. So these are some little cut-off jumper wires that I thought would be useful for making the SAO. The one that I'm going to design has your standard... Let me actually just show you what an SAO is. So, oh yeah, tomorrow morning I'm going to be doing a Hackster Cafe. Very excited about. That is featuring folks from the Open Healthware Conference being put on by OSHWA this weekend. So that's on Friday and Saturday, the 1st and 2nd of August. And I'm going to be interviewing a couple of cool people from there. And then you can see past episodes as well. Really cool people recently. You can also see my newsletter, which is, free, monthly-ish. Not really monthly. I had an intense April, and then, I've been at a bunch of events, which means I've got a bunch of cool stuff to write up, but I need to get around to that. But, it's sort of a newsletter and blog. I got to find the Dayglow channel. I'll pull that up real quick. But this is what I'm doing. So, Simple Add-ons is the new name that has been given to... The original one was, I think Brian Benchoff maybe come up with this, and it was called the Shitty Add-on. DEF CON 26, DC 26 was in 2018. So that's how long those have been going around. Then we've seen them called SuperCon add-ons and simple add-ons and stuff, to make them more family-friendly or whatever. Twinkle Twinkie is also another legend in the DEF CON and general PCB badge life space. And this is the person I think who made the Minecraft sword SAO mount, but I can't find much of an online presence for them, so we're just gonna leave it at that. And let me pull up the Dayglow show real quick, because I want to show you that too. Dayglow show. If you go to dayglow.show, in fact, that's the best way to find both of our channels. We've got David's and mine. And if you click on here, it will go to the playlist. So that's dayglow.show is the entire URL. And in the latest one, we were looking at the Arduino R4, Nano R4 rather, and come on, internet. You can do it. I believe in you. There we go. And also at Pebble and Rebel. So lots of interesting stuff going on there, in my opinion. Alright, so that's what SAOs are, and I'm going to look at the diagram here to make sure that I set it up correctly. Now the way that the sword mount thing is set up, it's basically like a platform for 3 SAOs at once. And I've got it hooked on a USB cable here somehow, but it's so cool. And it's got, I put this little storm cloud from Carrie of Alpenglow on here, which is also incredibly cute. But anyway, so it's a little 4-pin header, a little square, and there's a dot on the back here that indicates VCC. Yeah, and then there's also, it's a lot easier to see on the diagram, but you see how VCC and ground are connected, and then the other two for I2C are over here. So data and clock lines. I'm not going to be using those at all, really. I'm just going to be using voltage and ground. Oh, you know what? Oh, 3v3. Okay. That's good for the LEDs I have. I haven't looked at these LEDs in a million years since I ordered them just to test out a bunch of different ones. So we're going to figure out how much forward voltage, what their forward voltage drop is, and also what kind of a resistor we need. But I think that will be another time because I'm mostly going to be soldering today. But that's what I'm going to be doing, putting together that a header for those. And I've mostly got my workspace clear. I'm just going to rotate this, actually. We've also got a servo that I thought I was going to have to put into Archimedes to replace some older ones, but it turns out that his are already working, which is awesome. Good problems. So that can go away. And here are some more of those random little bags of headers and stuff that I had around that I need to consolidate into my little lovely little case of headers that I've got going now. these in particular are devices that I originally called PCBs that I later turned into a thing called Charmware. They're basically like little modular PCBs that I used to teach myself how to make circuit boards in the first place. And later on they got cute little astronomical names, but basically the idea is here. For this module in particular, you have the PCB divided in half. You could pick either side to be the ground plane. Wait, is that true? Yeah. And then you could put like a long thing, like a reed switch across here, like a magnetic reed switch, or like a regular size resistor across here, or maybe an LED. And then you could put 1206 size surface mount components across here, like a resistor or an LED or something, and then you could chain them together, basically. I've got an example somewhere, but couldn't find it. But instead of doing that, I'm going to make a little SAO demo thing. And let's see, I'm going to use some stiff wires here because it's more useful when you are actually testing something for to be able to sort of pose the wires, you know, because you might be holding the LED in one hand and like holding the wires with the other. So I'm going to use some stiffer wires, not this silicone one, as nice as it is. I'm going to use a little stiff X hookup wire, orange wire, and this stiff copper one. That way they'll be a little bit structural, hold their shape. Okay, let's see. Whew. Why am I yawning already? I need some tea. It's like warm in here. I don't know why. Why is this happening to me? I guess usually when I stream it's in the morning, so I have to deal with that. Well, let's go. So, here is a big pile of proto boards. Split. Uh-oh, I accidentally hit the keyboard. Okay, good. And what I'm going to do is basically find a nice small one. This is my like little drawer of proto boards, and yeah, I don't need one that already has connections. When you do this for like over 10 years, you acquire a lot of random bits. And in the last couple of months of sort of consolidating and pruning down everything and whatnot, clearing up my space, I've reunited a bunch of these. Don't need this one because that's also connected across. This is a nice shape so far, but I think what I might end up doing, cute little like solderable mini breadboard from SparkFun. And then Adafruit Permaproto half-size breadboard. And DigiKey does some solder full breadboard. A lot of these have a play on the solderless breadboard term. So it's like solder full, Permaproto, and then there's this, these, which I love, which are these SparkFun PCB things that are called a snappable P-board. I don't know why my camera hates putting light on here, so I'm just going to show you close up here. Love these things. They are so useful for making a custom size proto board without doing horrible things with clippers or busting out a Dremel. Used this for my prototype for the companion core that lives inside of Fenrir up there. Anyway, I said I needed some caffeine, but then I forgot to get any. Oh well. I'm one of those people who can like drink a bunch of caffeine and then go immediately to sleep. In fact, it sometimes works a little better that way. Turns out, I'm not the only one. So, do I want to make this ugly one? Or, like, I'm tempted to use this because, like, when else am I going to use this? But then also, this is so pretty. But then also, like, no, yeah, I'm going to use this. Because otherwise I'd have to like snap off a whole row of this and it doesn't really make sense. Okay, we're going to use the ugly one. It's going to be great. Now let's get out there's been a lot of discourse about this recently on Mastodon, my Omnifixo. This is a wonderful little maker's third, fourth, fifth, and sixth hand, a little magnetic rotaty guys and parallel jaws with soft and non-conductive silicone jaw covers and all these extra little features that you can totally get into, but I'm not going to right now. Anyway, beautiful little device for holding stuff while you solder. And I'm going to grab my brass coil, my little lead-free solder with my, what do you call this again? Tip refresher, tip cleaner thing on top. And get those ready. And I've got my bags of random LEDs. There's some green ones I was testing as well. So basically, like, when I made the Avnet guitar pick PCB, there was an issue where I tried a number of different 1206 LEDs, which I like because they're the perfect size, I think, to solder by hand, while also being very compact and easy to like fit onto a circuit board. So you can solder them either by by hand or what you doing? Interesting. Never done this before. Oh, maybe my jump ring is like bridging the contacts. That was a bad idea. Anyway, this one's nice and bright. This is a Worth Electronic green LED, but there were other ones that were not nearly as bright, and I was very disappointed the first time that I put these together as kits. So what I wanted to do is make sure that I don't have that problem again, where I use some LEDs that turn out to be super dim, and I'm going to test them on the SAO thing, so that, you know, I'm not going to be actually putting a resistor in this circuit right now, I think, because I'm lazy, but you know what, I should. I'd have to look up what these are, which I should do anyway, actually. So these are from Worth Electronic as well, because I was like, oh, it worked before, maybe it'll work again. These ones are Dialite. Caution, this bag contains sensitive devices. These are from a bajillion years ago. When was this, anyway? It doesn't say. From a long time ago, though. Doesn't matter. And then I also have a bag of random things. Maybe LEDs? There's definitely some LEDs in here, I think. And, just, you know, from prototyping various stuff over the ages. So I'm going to test all of those, but first I got to build the circuit to test it. So I'm going to do that, which means, where did my little headers go? Whoa, no headers. Here they are. In a random spot. Great, awesome. So we're going to get started. I'm going to fire up my iFixit soldering iron, which I adore because it heats up so fast. It's usually not a problem. Let's get it to cool down. Alrighty, so gonna get these out of the way, actually. Those sit on the bottom part of my desk. Here are some bits and pieces. I'm gonna cut this guy in half. Does not need to be that long, and I'm going to strip these while my soldering. Honestly, the soldering iron only takes like 5 seconds to heat up, so it's already ready to go, but I'm just going to strip these real quick. I'm going to make sure that I arrange everything in the proper direction. Okay, cool. That's actually a little bit long. I've got a tiny trash can over here made from a tea canister that I use as like a desktop trash can that I'll put little bits in, pieces that are too small to save, bits of like cut off, stripped coating and stuff, wire sheath. Okay, cool. So we've got these little guys, we got that, and then I'm going to need 2 headers for the power and ground. Actually, it's not even going to be an SAO header, is it? It's going to be, I'll put all the pins in, but then I'll also separately have the power and ground to the LED, I think. So, let's see. I can make 2 of these out of here. So, okay, I should mention real quick that there's 2 flavors of SAOs. There's now a new standard. I think the one that I showed you second is the simple add-on, and that one actually has 6 pins instead of 4. I should have mentioned that, but you probably noticed anyway. I'm just doing the simple 4 one because I don't need whatever the fancy thing was. Are those both salvageable? Yes! Awesome! Cool. Both of them are usable. I'm going to pick the one with less of the connector stuff on it for this because 2 of the pins don't matter. So, I'll pull this up real quick again. The simple add-ons, you may have noticed, have 6 pins, not 4, and that is because they now have an orientation. One of the frustrating things about the original SAO spec is that it is 4 pins, and it's hard to tell without looking very closely which orientation it goes in, and then you're getting nervous about which way to plug it in and stuff. Whereas the new one has not only 6 pins, but it also has a little notch here, and then the header has a little nubbin that goes in there. I could design it with 6, and I could make it but I don't want to I just want to use regular headers. I don't want to get special ones. I think it'll be a lot easier this way. So, what are the extra pins for anyway? Let's see, 2x3 header. To make them more accessible to a wider audience and provide a clear description of their purpose. Oh yeah, they are compatible, by the way. You can put a 4-pin one into a 6-pin one. And I think even vice versa, you know, you could in theory just put this halfway into the other one, but oh, here we go. Couple of GPIOs. Cool. So there you go. But I'm just doing this 4-pin one. Alright, so what is the orientation? I just rewatched the Monty Python Holy Grail thingy, where he's like, what is your name? What is your quest? Etc. So that's in my mind right now. I'm gonna make this like this, and then it'll be there, and then I'll have the little tester guy come off to one side. That'll be easy. And maybe for right now, I'll grab a little breadboard. Wait a minute, I couldn't find one the other day. Okay, as part of the cleanup process, I also, of course, managed to put a bunch of stuff in places that I immediately forgot. So right now, that's my breadboard stash. So instead of doing it the smart way and plugging this into a breadboard in order to make sure that the pins go in straight, I'm just gonna tack solder 1 pin down and then adjust it until it's straight. And try not to burn myself. Tack solder the pin that is not touching my finger. Still probably gonna transfer some heat, but okay, cool. That feels pretty straight. Wow, I think I've got my iron temperature up a little high, because, oh no, it's not that pin. One of the pins has decided to go a little wonky. And usually that happens because I have overheated the plastic, and then the little pins just slip through, but nope, I think it's just a little loose. So I'm just making sure all the pins are equal before I solder them in. That looks good. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm gonna tuck this in here now that it's held in place. And so, yeah. We got power, ground, and those are coming in. And then I'm just gonna, okay, I'm gonna maybe do a little bit of Sharpie work here. Where's my Sharpie? Here we go. Alright, so what we've got here is, looking from this side, we've got, so from the back side, the dot is above the ground and on the right. From the front side, which is what this is going to be, the dot is on the left and ground is below it. Okay. Perfect. That's what I want. So I'm just going to mark this. Minus. Plus. I could have made it clearer which ones those were on, but let me just double check that. So, VCC has the circle, ground is below it, SDA and SCL are the other two. VCC and ground have... yeah, okay. And then I flip it over so that it matches, and we got... the solder mask is black, which makes it a little harder to see which pins are circled together, but I think this is... oh yeah, you know what? I can easily tell because it's difficult to see on the camera. Let me see how much I can focus in on this. If you're not already familiar, I think this is really interesting. But when you're looking at a printed circuit board and you're trying to figure out what's power and ground, the ground plane, or the ground pins may be connected to the ground plane via little connecty notches by the through hole. So, there's a pointy thing. Here we go. So, where there's power coming in here, you've got the dot there for VCC, then it's going to be in this little circle connected to the ground one, and you can also tell that it's ground because it's got these little tabs that are connecting the through hole to this big ground plane. And this is actually a trace here. That's just solder mask. It kind of looks like it's separated, but it's not. That's just printed on. So you got these little tabs of copper pour connecting that through hole to the big ground plane. So I know that that's ground. I know this is VCC. And then when I flip it up over, we got the VCC on top and ground on bottom. And let me double check. Yes. So it's going to go in like this, sideways. Is that what I want? It is now. Okay. So. Alright. Let's solder the rest of the pins in. I used to do these live streams on Twitch, and I think I'm going to try and bring back some of the features I had for that, which included... oh, I need to fix my focus again. Which included having a playlist going in the background, and then, you know, for licensing reasons I couldn't play the music on the stream, but I could tell you what playlist I was listening to, and then you could go and find it and listen to it if you wanted. Also, I love to hear, like, what you're listening to. At the moment. Maybe not the exact same moment as the stream, but like in general, like what's doing it for you musically. I've been listening to a ton of Mon Laferte, who's an amazing artist, Chilean Mexican. Now this is far enough from my face that I'm having a little trouble seeing where it's going, but I am going to blob this over and bridge it a little bit. There's a little bit of solder danger between the two. No, I think that's good. Just making sure I'm not bridging my ground and power pins. Okay. Solder it from the other side so that it, you know what, I can't even see that. Showing the camera is good, but I've also got to be able to see what the heck I'm doing. Go on down. Here we are. I actually saw that pin wiggle. I think my soldering iron's up a little high, which is convenient for fast soldering, but also can make these things wiggle around, and then maybe it won't fit in the SAO thing. Okay. Well, that's kind of a crappy job, but I think it'll do. Definitely got some... I don't have like a beautiful little cone on all of these pins, but it will do the job. She says, continuing to fidget with it. Look. This is basically what I'm doing. I'm just like holding it up and being like, you know, I see that you are not quite, you know, fully melted on there. Go on there. Go on there. I could use flux, but I'm lazy. This is not beautiful prototyping a clock. This is hack a clock. Oh, ow! Don't touch the hot pin with your finger. Oh, let's see. Why do my hobbies involve like hot glue and lighters for the heat shrink and soldering irons and whatnot. So now I need to connect my little jumper wires. Where did the black one go? For ground. Here we are. Again, I'm not even bothering to put resistors on because I'm lazy. Let's see, I'll put it going through the top. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I want to leave space to add a resistor later on though. Yeah, I know how I can do that. Okay. So right now I'm just going to do a little blob job to get it connected to my little wires, and I'm still looking at myself on the camera. Why? There we go. Okay. Time for some blobs. I'm just going to put a big blob on here. And then I'm going to stick this through it. Whee! Oh, you know what? I should have tinned the wire first, but I didn't. Go under before you start to burn my fingies. There we go. Close enough? Oh, not close enough. Oh, that ripped the entire... This is a really old proto board. It's kind of almost, could almost call it vintage. So that just ripped the entire entire contact off of there. Dang. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because I'm just connecting it to this big blob of solder anyway. Yeah, I'm just gonna... It's not gonna be the most stable of connections, but literally just bending this around with my fingers. It is cool now, and gonna solder it like this, so it's coming off of there, but it's not bridging anything, and in the opposite direction from the ground one, from the power one, just so that I'm sure it's not going to bridge anything. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. It'll do the job, probably. I will test this with a multimeter after I do it. But it really only has to work for one night while I try to figure out which of these SMD LEDs I'm going to use. Well, then I guess maybe later I'll prototype it with some different resistors. Well, no, I should easily be able to figure out which resistor after I choose the LED, so that's not even a problem. Okay. Now get all this crap out of here. Sound effects are, as usual, compulsory. I don't know why the end of this wire is actually so grody, so I'm going to clip that off and restrip it real quick. It's got a bunch of gunk on it, as though it's been kind of burned and stuff. There we go. Do a little bendy guy. Actually, I'm going to strip a little more so I can do a real... Come on. There we go. Actually going to tin it first this time. Sometimes I put, just stick this in one of the jaws here. And by this I mean my solder. Here we go, and stick it in there. Make sure it's not going to bridge anything. You get further away from the sheath there. I'm just peeling it down with my fingernail. Okay. Once I melt this solder on this pin, I think it'll get a little bit further away. Yes, but I still did bridge that, which is no good. Oh, get out of there. No bridging. I think I've got a massive amount of solder in here as part of the problem. Where's my solder sucker? Doop. Usually even my prototypes will look a little nicer than this, but whatever. For what it's worth, my stuff does usually work on the first try. It just looks like a giant mess, because it is. Get out of there. Oh, I know what that gunk was. It's just that sheath burning away. Get out of there. And we're losing that pin through the board. My goodness. This is not the part I expected to take a bunch of time. Yeah, see, it's trying to escape. That pin is longer than all the others. But I won't let that happen. Gonna push it back in. This is the part where we're definitely pushing the limits of the flux. I could just go grab some, but I'm not gonna, because I'm lazy. This is really, oh, this proto board is really bad. All the contacts really want to come off. This is worse than just like casual badness. I think I picked the wrong one, but that's how it goes. Now I know I shouldn't. Oh man, no! The contacts are just flaking off of there. This is not normal. This does not regularly occur. So I'm gonna grab this snappable guy that I wanted to use in the first place, and grab some pliers and snap off a short row. Can I do that? Sometimes I like put it on the edge of a table or something and snap it off. But right now we are doing things lazy style. There we go. Cool. So I shall take this much, just to give it enough of a little handle. And now I need that other little bit of header that I clipped off before. Here we go. Oh yeah, the magnet. Doop. Okay, so we're gonna just hook these together. Can do a tack solder again. Oop. Put it in here. Oops. Did not mind my own advice about not soldering to the pin that you are touching. That's enough. Oh. Man! It is late o'clock. I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, but oh well. My left hand is all covered in blisters, or my fingertips are, because of guitar. So I might as well get... This is the worst thing to say. I'm not a role model, okay? Might as well get some burns on the right hand to match, huh? I swear I'm not self-destructive. I'm just impatient. Story of my life. Here we go. Alright. Next time I do want to... So tonight is the first time I'm sort of doing an officially designated hack clock. And I spent some time putting together a little graphic and stuff for a thumbnail. So I did not tell anyone about it. So I'll actually be shocked if anyone shows up. But in the future, if you like this kind of thing, let me know. And well, I'm going to continue it anyway. You ain't the boss of me. But yeah, it'll be fun to stick around and such. Alright, let's grab this guy. Catch some early risers in the UK, maybe. Oh, and since these are better tin stuff, I can just put them next door to each other and blob it. That's gonna be great. Oh man, that's gonna be so much nicer. Let's clip this off again. Doop. This time, I'm gonna make it quite short. I'm gonna come up from the bottom. I don't need to mark them now because I already know where they go, and then I'm going to put colored wires on them so I'll know in the future as well. Go through there. Okay. Stay in there. Here we are. Anyway, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Mon Laferte. This is amazing. I've been listening to her for many years now, but on a recent trip to Open Hardware Summit, actually, I like to listen to something new when I'm traveling because it helps sort of crystallize the experience in my mind. Call it making a time crystal, because like, you know how you can sort of journey through time if you have an association with a certain song or a certain smell or both. So I try to sort of write down and remember what new stuff I was like, the characteristic sounds and smells of this particular time period were. So I was listening to, I like sought out some more of her songs that I hadn't heard before, and I came across this one called Flaco, which is just incredible. It's like, it's full of drama and pathos, and mostly drama, but you know, very romantic. I'm just trying to get the right length of wire for my preferences on here. Just bend that around. Okay, get this out of here because it's kind of visually distracting. This is what I'm working on right now. It's just this little piece here. Then I'm gonna, once I've got both these little wires on, I'm going to blob across some solder to the ground and power contacts. See how this is blue now? And then it's almost immediately red? That's it heating up from me picking it up out of the stand. Isn't that ludicrous? Such a good little soldering iron. I might lose the wire here. Come back. There we go. And I'm just, I should just put this in. The whole point of this third hand thing is that I don't have to hold it like this. And yet. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to do the blobbing across of the solder. Oh yeah. Stick this in here. This is what I like to hear. Like I can actually get little vibraty responses when I pluck those because they're firmly attached. Okay, now let's get this at the right angle. The proper angle. There we go. Okay. And we're just gonna blob solder across. Go there. Haha, yes. Nope. Go on. There we go. I'll show you this in close up in a sec. Kind of looks like a little bug. I like that. Honestly, for most circuits, I would always, usually, let's say, rather make a little soldered thing like this than use a breadboard because, in my opinion, breadboard connections are incredibly unreliable. Whether your breadboard has some weird, unexpected stuff with it, it's faulty, or just like, you know, some wires fit better and some fit worse, and like some of them wiggle around, and you don't really know if that's like the problem in the thing. And if you just glob a bunch of solder on there, you can be pretty certain that that's like connected. And like, look how nice that is. Those little stable wires are really nice here. So I left it longer in case I want to add a resistor later. I could just like desolder this wire, add a little resistor in the middle, then like solder the wire back down here, and then I'd be able to have a nicer little SAO for the actual correct resistance value. So right now I'm going to stick this in here and make sure that, I think that the batteries should still be good because it's never connected unless there's something plugged in. I'm going to use my multimeter really quick to test the voltage. Where did it go? Here we are. because before I plug in my before I try to test my LEDs, I've got to test my tester. Quiz tested test Ross or whatever. Cool, awesome. We got 3.13 volts, which is a little low, but whatever. Cool. So that works. And now I'm gonna pull out my little LEDs. It'll be interesting to try and figure out what color some of these random ones, unknown test random question marks, you know, just in case you weren't sure of how unsure I was about what those were. Alright, so I'm gonna put away my jumper wires actually first. So this is going to be a mess. Close enough. Other side of the desk. Okay, put away the solder sucker. Put away all the rest of the soldering stuff. Turn off my soldering iron. I might use this still. Clipper and the Sharpie. Go away. Alright, so I have two known types of LEDs and a few little unknown ones. Here we go. Oh, that's a big silica gel packet. I like to do a thing with the silica gel packets where I toss them into my big bucket of filament. So my 3D printing filament to keep it dry. So these are, which ones are these? Worth Electronic, okay. I'm not sure which ones they are exactly, but they are 1206 size, blue, 145, I think, millicandelas? Microcandelas? We'll find out later. 470 nanometers, which is in the blue part of the spectrum, and there's a part number on here somewhere, so cool. Let's pull one of these out. I'm gonna use my tweezers, which I just put those trays on top of. Gotta move you again. Oh, don't go everywhere. Okay. Tweezers, tweezers, here we go. My favorite way to get components out of these little plastic strips is just use the tweezers to peel back enough for one to come out. There we go. And then we've got an indicator for which side is which. I think usually the little arrow points towards ground. I'm gonna zoom in here a little more. Show people stuff more clearly. Can I elevate this? This is not the best surface for this, but it's what we've got. Okay, so I'm gonna back this off a little bit. Alright. And then fix my focus again. I'm in the process of sort of setting up my own personal video channel where you see that I've got this like Dayglow collaboration going on and this new Hack a Clock thing. Sort of figuring out what the different genres of show I want to do are. And in the process I'm also going to be revamping some stuff. So, oh actually yeah, here's a closer look at what I just did with that horrible little tester. Haha. You can see the globs. We got the voltage glob and the ground blob, and then the other two pins for SDA and SCL, as in the diagram, as foretold in the prophecy of Benchoff. It's gonna be weird if he watches this. Anyway, I think it goes this way. I think it just goes in the expected direction. Ooh, don't connect those. Okay. And so I'm going to flip this over. Am I? Sometimes there's a dot on the top as well. So it would be like that. And the dot is usually ground. But this one, yeah, actually, yeah. So the dot is also on the left. It's sort of two little green bits. You can see my guitar blisters. You're welcome. I should have made these two wires the same length. It would be easier, actually. Very easy to trim off that red one, but later. Just gotta re-angle it. Okay, so Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice and bright. Okay, that'll do it. Oh, yeah, that's great. That's great. Oh, that's really solid. Beautiful. You are a winner with electronic. Unless I figure out from looking them up that the other one is also quite bright and somehow like either a better color or a lower voltage or something like that. Because, I do have a specific color I'm supposedly aiming for. That was a beautiful one. I don't really like this. So bright. Okay, so this is the Dialite ones. And again, I have no idea when I ordered these. But yeah. Oh, these are RoHS compliant, no lead. It's nice to have that right on the package. Does the other one say that? I don't think so. Oh, it says RoHS Y10, whatever that means. This is the first one I looked at. Y10. I'll have to look that up. I'm very curious. Oops, sorry. And then this one says RoHS compliant, no lead. So, except for the lead that people call LEDs, when they say lead instead of LED, they say it like that. Anyway. Oh boy. This is Hack a Clock, everyone. This is what you get. Alright. Feels like being like a sommelier or something. And over here we have a lovely selection from Dialite, not sure of the vintage, but see how you like this one. Got hints of, well, we'll find out, maybe some cyan in there. Gotta re-angle this little supposed probe tip. Maybe the wiggly ones would have been more useful, but then there's more risk of them sort of crossing. Oh, that one's nice too. And I actually managed to get the probes into the little castellated spots. Okay, that's really great too. So we'll compare prices, we'll compare, I'll take another look at the color comparison. Let's pull up that first one again. Doop. And see. I think this is a slightly lighter blue, but I'm not 100% on that. I might mount them to a separate thingy and see. Cool. Alright, so beautiful. Those both work, so I'm going to compare the colors a little bit more, and I'm going to compare pricing and availability and ship time, because I'm trying to get this wrapped up really quickly, actually. And you know what I should do is tape these down to a piece of paper and label which is which, but I don't have that right now, so I'm not going to do it. I'll just have to remember. Actually, I will place these vaguely next to their packaging, so I don't trust myself to remember that kind of thing. Amazing. Anyway, I'm trying to get this done for an upcoming event, so I want to be able to pick one that has a quick lead time, and ideally isn't super expensive, and ideally doesn't consume a crap ton of energy. So in this random pile of things, I have one LED, or not LED, one resistor rather, and is that a 0 value one? No, it's some random value. Okay, we've got mystery LEDs number 1. Big reel of them. Some tiny little transistors. Let me see if I can show you those a little bit better. Look at them! Look at the little guys in there. I really think these guys remind me of bugs. Tiny little black packages with 3 legs coming off of them. Oh, these are from an OHS badge 1 year and Open Hardware Summit. So they could be a number of different colors. I think were definitely some pink ones. But I think they had multiple colors there. And then, from Zach Verdane. Question mark. I think that he didn't know what these were. And they kind of look pink. If I pull them out of the package. But there's 2 strips. Interesting. Ooh, 2 different colors. Those will be interesting to investigate. At this point, I'm just playing because I have no clue what any of these are. I don't have any packaging for them. I'm just, you know, it'd be useful to know what these are for future reference, but it's not like I'll be able to order more because who even knows? But if I have a big reel of some cool color, that'd be neat to know. Oops. Where'd you go? This is a job for Mr. Tweezer. Another different shape on the back here. I think that's really just sort of a pixelated arrow though. Because like, do we have a dot on the top? No, there's no top dot. This is one of those interesting like concave ones. Where they've got this little like, I think it's designed to be like, stop. To go into the PCB, you like make a little hole in the PCB and it goes into it. Try and get this in the right orientation. There we go. So it kind of protrudes. I could be wrong. Alright, let's try this. One of the rare times it's actually easier to see what I'm doing on the camera. Oh, no! It's sort of like a really crappy microscope. Come here. I'm just going to put it upside down like that because I'm tired of futzing around with it. Well, no, it won't stay put. Come on. Nope, don't flip over again. There we are. Manipulating these things is a game in and of itself. Okay, well, you don't want to work at all. Maybe it's infrared. Oh, it might be infrared, actually. But I'm not seeing anything on the camera either, which usually a camera will pick it up. Well, that's a mystery. Huh, no clue. Wait, let's try it the other way around real quick. Maybe I had it backwards. Not even a glimmer. Okay, well, I'll come back to that one later. Then we've got... Oh. Trying not to jostle my other ones. Where did that other packet go? Oh dear, have I lost some? Oh no, here we go. Trying not to lose the LEDs I've already tested. Challenge level impossible. There we go. Okay. Here's another one. This isn't the same one, right? No. Yeah, no, this is a full strip. Okay. They look quite similar, but they are in a black strip, but you don't know that when you have it out on the desk. These are very tiny. Oh! I think this might be a NeoPixel WS2812 type thing. It's got 4 contacts and it's a square instead of being... Yeah, I think this is an RGB LED. So I'm going to leave that alone because there's no way I'm going to be able to figure anything out from my little weird crappy tester here. But I'll put it on screen because it fell out of the strip, so... Look at that teeny tiny little guy. Who just really... It's super hard to see. I do have a better close-up camera situation I should set up for later, but you can kind of see that it's got 4 contacts on there. Very cute. Super teeny tiny. Completely useless right now. And then these, I think, might be pink. This is not a 1206. This is a maybe 408 or something like that. 0804. What are the smaller ones? I don't have them memorized because I only really use... Whoa! That is very pink. I only really use the one size. that's easy to solder and also easier to manipulate. Ah! Wow, that is so pink. Rarely have I seen something so much pink from such a tiny little package. Like, wow! That is how big that is. And I've got pretty small hands, but I do have large fingers, I think. Anyway. Okay, cool. Confirmed pink. Good stuff. Now I've got these little OHS spinner ones, which I think these are mostly pink too. In fact, did Zach design that? Did he co-design it? I have no clue. He made a really cool little cyborg ring though. I'm just gonna test these 4 strips and then I should sign off because I am trying to get some sleep before our cafe interview tomorrow. Alright. 4 strips. 4 furious. That made no sense. Get out of there. Pointy little. There we go. There we are. Okay. That doesn't have anything on the back. What? Okay, that does have a little dot on the front though. There we go. Blue! Yay! Okay, cool. Which packet did that come from? This one. Alright, so this guy is blue. Put those together somewhere. There we are. Splendid. Again, I have no clue what actual... Oh, you know what? I could actually probably look up some kind of docs for the OHS spinner badge. So one year, Open Hardware Summit had a badge that was basically a fidget spinner. And it had a persistence of vision display on it that you'd solder like a little, a line of LEDs to it. And then spin to your heart's content. Is it backwards? Flip it around. What color will you be? The suspense. The drama. Red. Or pink? Red. This is probably overloading the voltage a bit because it is direct from the source, 3.1 something volts, and red is not happy with that. That actually needs a resistor. If I'm testing blue ones, they don't care. It's a nice little red though. Oh, it's sort of an orangey red. Is it an orangey red because it's actually orangey red, or is it orangey red because it's about to burn out? Who can say? Not me. Okay. 2 more to go. Where did that, strip of pink ones end up? I've got the one little one that I tested. Ah, here we are. Okay. Just gotta try and keep them in vague order. Was there anything else I was gonna do tonight? No, that's all I wanted to do. Okay, cool. Had a super productive day. I set up a bunch of stuff for tomorrow's cafe, which should have happened earlier, but sometimes it takes a while to pull stuff together. And I'm very excited about it. Done some research. And then doing some laundry. Doing a little music. Did a bunch of boring clerical logistics work. So this is sort of my little treat at the end of the day. It's like, I want to build something. Get some of that dopamine. Yes, we got blue again. I'll show you more clearly without my fingies in the way. Ah! Oh! It objects. I don't care. We're gonna make you shine again. There you go. Now which way is it? I think it's oriented correctly. Giving myself a crick in the neck by told you I was going to show you without my fingers. There we go. Very nice little blue there. Oops. And then we've got these guys. There's another strip here that has just 2 in it, and I'm like, I'm not going to test that for 2, but I'll test 7. Go. There we are. Now which way? Huh. Let me have a look at this close up. Do you have... Oh, it's only got markings on the bottom. Huh. Nothing on the top. This looks like a more diffuse one, maybe. I don't know. I didn't look too closely at the other ones, so maybe they were diffused as well, but you can see how this is kind of a milky little shield thingy on top of this, whereas like a diffuser one, whereas the other ones I think might have been water clear, as they call it. Ooh, yellow. Nice. Give us that yellow. Cool. That's going a little... That might hate me as well. Probably doesn't want the full... Whoop! Yep, it ran away. Where did that even go? It's gone forever. Oh, no, here it is. Well, you're yellow, and probably dead at this point. Sorry. Science is sometimes destructive. Hey, cool. I think I might solder both of these down to a board at some point, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to sign off because it's 12:20. I've been going for like a little over an hour, and I'm very happy with what I've gotten done tonight. So, stay tuned. I'm going to try and put that SAO, on the internet as soon as possible. And here are things I was showing you before. We've got tomorrow's stream. Let me pull that up. There we go. Tomorrow's stream on Hackster Cafe, we've got my newsletter at glow-ahead.ghost.io, which I should put in the... I'll put it in the description after this, but there's some, like, art/song/music notation I invented that went, orbited the Earth for a year, then burned up in the atmosphere. There's, like, some pixel art emoji I made into a Signal sticker pack. Some previous projects around Nomad Sculpt, 3D CAD on the iPad, some other random stuff, and notes about software that I use and various stuff. Then there's these simple add-ons. I'll drop this in the description. We've got the shitty add-on, the original spec, which is what I'm following for this, just because it's easier. Like, I don't have to get special headers, I'll just put it that way, I don't have to, it is cool, and I think it's very useful that they decided to make one with actually, polarized headers, where you can only put them in one way, but this is definitely easier for me to just prototype. And then here's that person, I don't know if they have a different presence somewhere, but they have this really cool... Let me show you one more time. This Minecraft sword-shaped SAO badge, and I just love everything about this, of course, because it's like a sword, it's like pixel art. I honestly played Minecraft for a while, and I really enjoyed it. I've never thought that I would really be into architecture as much as I got into it through that game, For certain values of architecture, mostly just involving building a lair in a volcano at a glass block, and it looked awesome. But and also a bunch of other buildings also at a glass block. But anyway, super cool SAO holder, and now I have this tester thingy that I can use to fix up my circuit. I'm going to add a resistor later on, once I pick one of those 2 LEDs. I'm going to choose based on like price and availability and how fast they'll ship. Some of Farnell's stuff ships from the UK, and some of it ships from the US and is really fast. But I want to pick the one that's going to come faster because the event is happening soon. And then this is really fun to wave around. And stuff. Go watch Dayglow as well. That's the other thing. Dayglow.show. Ooh, lordy. I'm going to take that pin off of there. Let me pull up this Dayglow.show, and then you can find both David's and mine and my YouTube links. there for our playlists of past and future episodes. And then also, each of these shows, by the way, has a live collaboration doc. So while we're investigating these different pieces of technology that we've had sitting around forever but never really gotten to dig into, I, for one, especially have like done a ton of unboxing videos and like short intros for stuff, but then never really been able to find the bandwidth to like actually sit down and learn a new platform, especially if there were other more urgent things all the time. Ask me how I got burned out for a few years. That's not the only reason, that there were multiple things going on. Fortunately, largely gone now. Anyway, point being, this is our show where we actually get to sit down and play with those things and learn things, and I am blowing the dust off of my skills, getting de-rustified, and refreshing some older skills and picking up some new ones, so lots of interesting stuff there. And each one has a collaboration doc, which is basically like, especially I will like dump all the links that I pull up and all the notes that I take and the documentation pages and like what I tried and all the error messages and stuff into these notes, and you can follow along in real time or check them out later on, which I think is something that is really cool about that show, and a little bit, I think it's pretty innovative. I haven't seen anyone else do that. It started as David and myself just doing these like off-air hacks and snacks type things, which is, originally I ran some meetups back in like 2017 maybe for Hackster that I called Hacks and Snacks, and I've sort of like continued with that phrase for our offline hacks, and we would just mess around with this stuff and keep the doc for, let me just show you what I'm doing, and now we share that with you. So go check that out. I'll put these links in the description. Tomorrow we've got that cafe, which is basically my every couple of weeks interview show with people doing cool stuff with electronics on the Hackster.io channel on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. You can find it at bit.ly/hackstercafe, all one word, and there are hundreds of episodes on this, like a bajillion amazing people have been on this show, which is a massive privilege. And it's not even loading. Okay, my computer is dying. I'm kind of dying. Let's sign off here, but thank you if you decide to watch this. Enjoy. Hope you have a chill time. It's a big part of this. It's just, I think it's incredibly soothing to do this. I like sharing. But have a good night or day or whatever time of life it is. I'll see you soon. Hack on.